Horses are a unique species. They are anatomically and physiologically unique. I think they're probably one of the most intelligent domestic animals. I can recall a case when I was examining a horse that was ill. I was listening to his chest with a stethoscope, and I reached up to feel his ear. He jerked his head away, and I said, "You darn fool, I was just trying to see if you're running a fever." He dutifully tipped his head down so I could hold his ear. I told him, "Thank you." Yes, horses are unique. They have 15 ribs instead of the 13 of we other vertebrates. So they have extensive lungs and a large heart. This is what allows them to run great distances carrying heavy weights, far more athletic than any other domestic species. Their body is covered, their torso is covered by a heavy yellow fat pad, and they have more sweat glands than any other domestic animal. These two factors allow them to tolerate temperatures far in excess of that of any other species, domestic or otherwise. Horses, for many millennia, were the main source of power on land other than man himself. They are noble beasts, deserving of the very best of care. Oftentimes, they are the most misused, most abused animals, especially over the winter time, because they're very expensive to maintain, and I have seen numerous cases of neglect and abuse of horses. They deserve better. In the history of mankind, they have played a pivotal role. From the conquering of the sands of North Africa and Arabia by the Roman chariots, to the 12th century, 13th century conquering of Eurasia by the Mongol herds of Genghis Khan with their Siberian ponies. They conquered all the land from Hungary to China. Coronado, with his troops, dispersed 80,000 Aztecs with a small group of horses. Their use in the First World War was invaluable. Yes, horses have molded history. Some of my tales, I think, about horses also are unique. Probably my favorite one, we lived north of town, about a mile and a half, over the brow of a large hill. It was on a Sunday afternoon. I was sitting on the front porch, reading the newspaper, enjoying an iced tea. These two late teenage girls, whom I knew, came running up to the house. They said, "We were riding our horse to town and he fell down and can't get up." I followed them down to the main road about a block away from our house and instructed them to stay out of sight while I examined the horse. The small chestnut gelding lay on his side, quite covered with sweat, quite exhausted. I gave him a cursory examination, found nothing remiss. I spoke encouragingly to him, pulled his head up by pulling on the reins of his bridle, and he rose to his feet without difficulty. The girls came running up, quite relieved. I was not. I said, "Tell me, on this hot July day, were both of you girls riding on this little horse up this big hill to town?" When they said they were, I could not restrain myself. Together they weighed almost as much as the horse. I said, "If I ever hear of you two jumbos getting back on that horse together again, I'm going to have you arrested." And I meant it. You walking back to town, wiping down, to give him a cool drink of water.